Hey everyone, I'm Stuart Nguyen with Billionaire Blogs, and joining is Kevin Kevin Sather, interesting name. So we're here doing an interview, with Razer. So first off, I'd like to say thank you for being able to come and do this interview.
My pleasure.
When I think of esports peripherals, I think Razer. My first peripheral ever was the Razer Naga Hex,
Nice.
and that was just amazing. I loved the design process going into it, and I love how it felt, and I loved how it worked.
It's on my desktop right now using it.
Yeah, and if Razer is one of those brands that have really cemented themselves as the top esports peripheral brand. There are other companies out there. There's Logitech, there's SteelSeries, which I personally use, but none of them really have that same following as Razer does. Their iconic logo and what they bring to the table really surpasses almost anyone else. So one of the things I wanted to talk to you about is with all these companies coming out with new products, some of them that look almost exactly like the others and function in the same capacity, how do you think Razer has tried to stay unique and bring new things to the table?
Yeah, I think really what we do is we listen to our fans. We want to know what gamers want. We being gamers ourselves have a lot of ideas, but we always want to make sure the community is aligned with those. So we have a great, really strong community, guys like yourself giving us feedback all the time, and we take that to heart and we really use that to make creative and crazy products sometimes, but stuff that we love to do and we're passionate about it.
Yeah, and that's really good coming from someone in the industry. Now, when he said unique products, Razer is really no stranger to that. I remember once I saw the Razer Firefly, and my first reaction to that was, why would anybody want that? But over there, they're doing an Overwatch playing session where you can just sit down and play, and they have some of those there. And I realized that even though it wasn't what I was expecting, it's still a very viable piece of peripheral, and it's amazing. I love it. So, this is another one of their products that's really unique. This is Project Valerie. So this is a laptop with 3 different screens. And you might not be able to see it back here, but there's gameplay coming here, and it's flowing seamlessly across these 3 screens. So what do you think was the creative process going into something like this? Because I've looked at a bunch of other laptops, and none of them have done this 3-screen thing.
Yeah, so definitely something unique, and really the motivation behind this started when we were working on the Blade Pro, our 17-inch laptop that we released a few months ago. And we took all this desktop power and put it into a mobile form factor. It was a smashing hit. Everyone loved what we did there. And we said, well, what's next? What other desktop experience can we bring to the mobile environment? And obviously the next thing was multiple monitors. So we didn't want to do an external monitor. We wanted to be a really seamless user experience. So what we designed with Project Valerie was a mechanized system for the hinges. So when the user wants to deploy the screens, they interact via software, the screens come out, automatically aligned, no cable clutter, and an immersive gaming experience, or just a great big workspace for productivity.
So on the subject of Razer computing devices, one of their most famous laptops is their Razer Blade. Now, when I saw that, I was really impressed by the aesthetic of it, and it's very thin, unlike a lot of other laptops out there. A lot of laptops that are marketed as gaming laptops are horrendously thick. They have all these things put into them. But looking at the Razer Blade, I've seen wow, the aesthetic is so much better than almost any of the other things out there. So what was the thinking going into that, and how do you guys think that you guys are going to extrapolate on that and improve on that design?
Yeah, so since day one, over 5 years ago when we first got into doing PC systems for gaming, Min wanted to do something that was a true portable gaming PC. He wasn't satisfied with these 1.5 plus thick machines that were gaming PCs. So we started with the first Blade. We wanted it well under an inch. We wanted it to have a premium build quality and all the performance that we could put into it without sacrificing the mobility. That's been kind of our mantra from day one and continues to be right now with the Blade Stealth, the Blade, and then the Blade Pro. We've got a great portfolio now.
Yeah, exactly. And moving on to your peripherals. So like I said earlier, Razer is one of those cemented brands. You know Razer. Even though you might not necessarily know gaming, you might know Razer from all their iconic products. Now, with all your peripherals out there, all these different mice, the Mamba, the Death Adder, all those things, how do you think that stacks up to other mice?
Yeah, so I think, what's unique about what we do is obviously the chroma lighting is one of those unique differentiators, and the ecosystem we have with our chroma lighting technology is really robust. So game developers, you mentioned Overwatch earlier with the Firefly mousepad. When you choose characters, you get this theme of color depending on who you're selecting. When your ultimate's ready, a key will indicate that. So really giving it kind of that next level immersion with the peripherals, or if you're just into personalizing it and you want to use the chroma system for that, that's great. The other thing I think that differentiates us is the fact that we build our own switches for keyboards. We do, we test them with esports athletes. We really want to make sure the product is absolutely perfect before we release it into the wild.
So regarding, mentioned esports athletes. Now, Razer is no stranger to sponsoring esports teams. Many different esports teams use Razer peripherals. One of my favorites is Team Liquid, especially like in CS:GO and in all those other games they compete in. They use Razer products. How do you rate what they say compared to what the majority of people say? What if they're two conflicting opinions? How do you weigh those two?
Yeah, so we do get a range of feedback sometimes, and what we want to do is make sure that we're listening to everyone's opinions and then vetting out what's going to be best for the greatest amount of people out there. And then what we have is such a wide range of portfolio. So if we have a mouse that's really great for an FPS, but we need something for an MMO, we've got a whole different design to cover that. So instead of trying to shoehorn everyone into one mouse and one keyboard, we just make a range to satisfy all the different needs out there.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, when I had the Mamba Naga Hex, I'm an FPS gamer. I don't play any of those games that need all those buttons, but yet I found its form and how it functioned almost very well suited to games that I play, like Counter-Strike and Call of Duty and all those things. So going on to more of where you guys are pricing it, do you guys feel comfortable with how you are pricing it? So I go on to forums all the time, I look at things, and a lot of things, not necessarily a lot, but in the people that are opposed to your products, the main complaint that I see is the price versus the quality. So how do you feel about those kinds of comments?
Yeah, so I think, you definitely get a lot of outliers out there. So, people sometimes have a bad experience and they want to vet on that, and we understand that, and we don't want people to have that experience. So we like that feedback, whether it's positive or negative. We want all the feedback we can get. It just helps us to make better products in the future for our customers, and we always want them to be satisfied at the end of the day with everything we produce.
All right, final question regarding Razer Synapse, your accompaniment software for your peripherals. So, like many different peripheral makers, Razer's does come with a software called Razer Synapse. Now, Razer Synapse is a very, very nice piece of software to use, especially when stacked up to all the other things like SteelSeries engine and the Logitech engine. So, how do you think, personally how do you think that Razer Synapse stacks up to everything, and where do you guys plan on going from there? Are you guys happy with its current state, or are you guys always seeking to improve and innovate?
Yeah, I mean, you're a user of Razer products, so you get Synapse updates pretty often, and we're always updating that because we release new products. We want to make sure we get everything just right from a driver sense as well as Chroma integration and things like that. We're also always releasing new features into Synapse. So stats and heat maps, for example, is a great addition that we did earlier, or last year, I guess, now that we're in 2017. So it gives users just a way to get more and more immersed in their gaming and to get more out of the products we deliver. When we combine our great hardware with our great software, it's a really compelling solution.
All right, that's about it for this video. So once again, I'm Stuart Nguyen here with Kevin Sather, right?
Yes.
There we go, Kevin Sather. So very much thank you to Razer for allowing us to do this interview, and I'll see you guys in an upcoming video.